How's it going, people? Bobby here once again, and I just want to make a quick video to show you that rebuilding coils isn't scary at all, and it's actually pretty easy. Right, I see a lot of people commenting online, and I'm fiddling with my mod here, sorry. I see a lot of people online saying that they want to upgrade their device but they're not interested in rebuilding, and I'm not saying with this video, oh, you shouldn't do it, you should just rebuild, everyone should rebuild. I'm not saying that at all. I get it, some people don't want to do it, but I think a lot of people are misinformed when they say they don't want to do it because they think it's really complicated and they see all this crazy stuff on YouTube that people are doing. And if you just want to build a simple coil, you can build a coil, you can probably use it for 2 or 3 weeks, and then you can build one more coil and replace it for another 2 or 3 weeks, and it's really easy. And if you're just building a basic coil, that was quite funny. If you just want to build a basic coil, then there's really not too much to worry about. It's quite easy. So I'm just going to try and build a basic 1 ohm single coil, something that you guys could use in like a maybe in a Limo or in a K-Fun or anything like that, or even in an RDA, which is what I'll be using it on just because it's easy to show you on there. But in anything almost that has a single coil configuration, you could build a simple 1 ohm coil and you could probably get a pretty satisfying vape, and you'll never have to pay for Aspire's dodgy coils again where you don't know if they're all going to work right or not. So take a look, guys. So I've got a 2.5mm drill bit here, and I've got a piece of 26 gauge cantho. I'm using 26 gauge because it shows up on camera better. If you're new to rebuilding, a lot of people would probably recommend that you use 28 gauge to begin with, but I'm just using 26 gauge here. I'm going to aim for a 1 ohm coil, so I'm going to do 8 wraps around this drill bit. What I do is I just hold it like this with my thumb, so it's alongside the drill bit, and then I grab it and I bend it away from me like this, and I'm still holding it right there, and then I just start wrapping it around. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it's not the neatest coil you'll ever see somebody wrap on YouTube, but for the sake of this video and doing it in front of a camera for my first time, this will do, and we can always neaten it up a little bit once we've got it onto an atomizer of some kind. So that's it. There you have a coil of 26 gauge cantho. It should be around about 1 ohm hopefully once we check it out, but there it is. There's ridiculously long legs on it. I always seem to take too much cantho because I don't want it to be too short. I'd rather have too much than not enough, right? So next we're going to take our atomizer, and you can see there's 3 posts there. The middle one is a positive, so with a single coil setup, which I'm going to do for the sake of this video, you're just going to want to put one of these legs through the middle hole like this, and the other leg through the other hole. And I keep it on the drill bit while I do this because I find it's just easier to handle and it stops your coil getting bent or squished or anything. And then I just line it up with around about the edge of the atomizer there, and then just take a screwdriver and screw it in until you see the legs start to move. And you can tighten it up a little bit later, but I just like to just first of all just get it there, and then what I do is I take a little thin screwdriver that I have here, which is like a star shaped one, and then just because I use this to push it across a little bit, and you can see it kind of tightens up the coil a little bit there. You can put it out, tighten it up a little bit, and then I put the drill bit through just to kind of make sure it's still the right diameter. And there you have a coil, guys, in your atomizer. It's pretty much there, okay? So I'm going to push it across a little bit more, pull it up, push it across, just so it's a bit more central. It's not necessary to do all that, but it just makes it a little bit neater. And then I'm going to throw stuff all around the whole room as I reach for these wire cutters, and then just cut it off at the back. Cut it off at the back. Hopefully you guys can see this all okay. And then I'm just going to tighten it up. Tighten it up. And then we have a coil. So next, what I want to do, before firing it up, of course, and everybody, you all have to do this, if you don't do it you're an idiot, is take your ohm meter and put it on there and make sure, check that out, I was aiming for 1 ohm, guys. Can't be bad, right? And what I tend to do is I like to wiggle it around a little bit on the coil just to make sure that nothing's loose. Just makes me feel a bit more confident, make sure the reading doesn't change. And then what I will also do is take the top cap of the Atty and put that on and just check that nothing changes and check you haven't got a short or anything like that, right? So that's pretty safe to go. I know that it's 1 ohm, and I can put it back onto my mod, and I can think about maybe tidying it up a little bit. So what I will do now is I will pulse the coil until it starts to heat up a little bit. If it heats up at all, there it's coming. It's quite a chunky coil for this. Just getting there. And I will just keep doing that. And then when it's hot, I will just get my pliers. I can't get at a good angle, and then I'll just squeeze it together. And there was juice on the pliers from when I pulled the old wicks out there. If you wonder what all that vapor is about as I did it, it smelled quite nice actually. And then I will just, the mod doesn't seem to be firing very good for some reason. Is my battery dead? Or is it just because I'm doing it at a funny angle and the button's not great? I figured it out, guys. I had a different Atty in here before, and the positive pin wasn't quite touching. So it doesn't come out on camera very well when it's hot like this, because my camera sucks. But not using the cutters, that could have been terrible. Using my pair of pliers, which still has juice on probably. Just pinch it together again, and you start to see that you've got a fairly uniform coil. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but what you want to, all you want to worry about is that it glows. If I shadow some of this sunlight out, that it glows from the inside out and it glows evenly. And there's no parts that are getting really, really hot compared to the others, and your legs shouldn't be getting hot either. So then finally, I will just fold these little excess parts what are sticking out here, just to make sure they're not going to get in the way of anything. And then we have a coil, guys. So the next part is obviously to wick it. And to do that, I am going to use a little bit of this Japanese cotton that I have here. I can get some out of the bag. So the way I use Japanese cotton, some people use it differently, is I move the mod with the hot coil out the way first so I don't burn myself. I simply cut off a piece that I think is about the thickness of the coil. Like that. And then I peel this thick layer off the edge. Some people leave it on. I peel it off, I don't like it. Get it away. Get it away. Get it away. And that leaves me with just the soft inside cotton part. And then some people roll it a little bit. I just roll it at the end, and that's all. And then I just pop it through the coil and put it through, and it should pull through very easily and not be too tight. And I put it through a few times just to straighten it out. I'm sorry for the terrible positioning of this camera. A snippet at the ends, and that might be a bit too much for this A, but who cares? We'll go in, tuck the cotton in underneath, and literally, guys, you've built a coil. That's how easy it is. So next I will get some juice. Just make sure it's really, really covered in juice, and then I can fire it. And makes vapor. So without burning myself on the coil, just for extra safety, because I've been fiddling with the coil, before I start firing it a lot, I'll put it back on the ohm reader. Now it's all juicy and horrible, and I just almost burnt myself on the coil. And I'm getting it everywhere, and my left hand doesn't do anything that I want it to. It's absolutely useless. Just put it back on there, and just check that the ohm reading hasn't changed and that you haven't got a short anywhere, just to be safe, especially if you're using it on a Mac. And then that's it. I'll put it back onto my mod. Tying that back up because that pot came out for some reason, and we've built a coil. It's really not as daunting as it might first seem. I'm all juicy, so I'm just going to go clean that up, and I'll be back to have my first vape on this coil. So there it was. That's how easy it is to build a coil. It's really not scary. Once you've done it about 3 times, you pretty much got it down, and then you start building the dual coils and doing whatever you want. So I've got the coil here. It hasn't been vaped. I'm now going to see. I'm not juicy anymore. It's making vapor. Let's see how it vapes. Put my top cap back on. It's really high up. I'm going to drip some juice in there just to make sure that it doesn't get dry. And let's see what happens. I put too much juice in there. See that? See that coil? It was so simple. It was so easy. And it makes vapor. Like, I understand some people can't do it. Some people have issues with their hands or arthritis and things like that. Like, I know people myself that know where they could do it with carpal tunnel and stuff like that. Various reasons why maybe you can't do that. But maybe you've got a son or somebody who could do it for you, because it's really easy. Anybody could do it, right? So try it out. Don't be afraid. Like, if you think that rebuilding is not for you, then kind of just go one step further and think, why is it not for me? Because it's really not that inconvenient if you don't do it all the time. I mean, I'm changing my coils all the time. I enjoy it. I find it fun, and I'm constantly messing around with different Atties and different setups. But if you just want one setup just to use day in, day out, you can re-wick it and dry burn it pretty simply, and just change the wicks out if it starts getting bad, and keep using the same coil. So you can use it for ages. I know people that used it for months, right? So just think about that. I hope you enjoyed the video, and do subscribe if you did. There'll be more videos coming in the future, of course, about all kinds of stuff. Whatever I can get my hands on, I'm going to show you guys. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm IH Vaping over there, and I guess I'll see you all soon with my 1 ohm single coil setup that took me, how long did it take me? Not very long at all. I don't know how long this video is going to turn out to be because I'm going to be editing it, so I can't tell you. Bye guys.